Since this is the first time that we're chatting about a record, about music, about the band, I'm going to give you guys a chance to introduce yourself. So those watching that may not be familiar with you guys can get to know a little bit more about you.
I'll go first. I am Jay Briscoe. I am the bassist and vocalist for IATT.
My name is Alec Pisano. I am the rhythm guitar and orchestral. Um,
Mastermind.
yeah, sure. And Jay and I are the founding members of IAT.
Well, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for taking the time today to chat about the upcoming record, Etheric Realms of the Night, out May 8th on Black Lion Records. So let's get right into this. For those that may not be familiar with the band, that may want to check you guys out, and let's look at this record more specifically. How would you describe the sound and perhaps even more important, the overall experience that this album offers?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint exactly or give us a specific genre, but we are a blend of progressive metal and extreme metal, influences coming from bands like Enslaved, Emperor, Dissection, bands like that.
When you look at this album, do you consider this to be a concept record?
Absolutely, yeah. Over the course of the evolution of the band, we have really delved into this like the higher concepts album creation, and this album is without exception. I think we really dug in deep and crafted a full concept that has a lot of different elements, but it's all very much in theme.
Is it from a creative standpoint, creating an album that's driven by a specific concept, does that make the process more challenging, or does it keep you more focused on what the goals are and what where the finish line is going to be?
I think it keeps us goal oriented. I think hit the nail on the head. I think that it keeps us kind of like in line as to like what the end result is going to be.
Was the roadmap on this record always linear?
I would
Absolutely.
say it was a natural progression. Um, we started writing these songs and eventually everything fell into place, just thematically. It was a natural progression towards the end goal.
And I think just to piggyback off that, I think that we were kind of discovering ourselves to be like much more storytellers, and we're just naturally falling into these flows of creating like full narratives and concepts that like are succinct between albums.
So when you look at this album, do you feel like this record is perhaps closer to who you guys not only are as a band, but who you guys want to be as a band? Does this album showcase a little bit more of who you truly are, and up until this point was kind of discovering who you were?
I'd say this record was very authentic to who we were. We didn't really have a goal in mind sonically. We just dove into how we felt, and we wrote music that we enjoy and what we like.
How is the creative process for you guys? You guys work together? Do you work separately? Give me a little bit of a snapshot into how a record like this is born.
Generally speaking, we do work together. We'll kind of separate and do our own kind of like little brainstorming and like come up with like riffs and things like that, and then we'll get together and we'll collaborate and we'll tweak things as we go, and we kind of fit puzzle pieces together.
Has it always been that way?
Yes, it's always been that way. And we base all of our songwriting off of chemistry. So, we'll bring in bits and pieces, and we know that we'll arrive at a greater picture once everyone has their input.
Wow, that's really interesting. When you look at the sound on this record, was it was the sound driven by its theme, or did the theme impact like it's almost like the chicken and egg in terms of who came first? So does the theme come first, the sound comes after, or does the idea for the sound kind of pushes you towards a very specific theme?
I would say every record that we've written and every song that we've written is dictated by the sound. We practically paint a picture for the sonic what we're writing. So I would say the sound came first and then the theme came second.
Do you guys have like a vision board in terms of where you want to go? Because it's not just about the sound, it's not just about the theme. It's about the artwork, the promotion schedule of the record, picking the singles. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces that go into releasing a new record. So, how do you guys tackle all of those moving pieces, ensuring that nothing is left behind?
Go ahead, Jay.
I'd say we lean more on the natural evolution of everything. Honestly, we have a lot to unfold for this record, and it just naturally fell into place. The alchemy that we like to refer to has allowed for it to fall into place. I That's the best way that I can explain it. There's not a lot of thought that is really put into putting a song in album order. It's more of a natural progression.
What about the
It
singles,
sounds
though?
so what we do is when we come up with the singles, we'll look at the body of work and then make decisions on what pieces have to fall where. But to be honest, with this album, everything kind of fell into place in order, and it was just kind of like the stars aligned on this one. Um, so it was a very effortless like production of the body of work.
But do you think about in terms of how the singles convey? Because when you talk about a concept album, sometimes it's difficult to pick a single or pick a song out of a record that is not about the individual tracks. It's more about what the overall album offers. So, how do you navigate those murky waters of releasing a song that can work on its own, but still allows the listener to get a feel for what the overall experience is going to be like?
I'd say we usually pick like the most complete songs, songs that may show our progressive side, but also shows our epic side and vice versa. So, I mean, like I feel like the songs that represent us the best, that those are the songs that we typically choose, and that I would say that would be the case for this album.
And I don't really think that there's a formula to how we do that. I think it's just kind of what feels right in our gut. You know what I mean?
Normally, your gut is always right, let me tell you. Just go with your instincts, man. Like they never prove you wrong. They never prove you wrong. W when you look at this album now, and maybe you've guys had a chance to kind of look back at what you've created and what you've done. Where do you see the biggest growth, both from a personal standpoint in terms of being, musicians within obviously a group of musicians within the band, but also in terms of the band as a whole?
You want to take this one, Alec?
Sure. This album's different for us, man. We really kind of took the brakes off and said like there's no idea that's too big, you know? And we said let's just see this thing all the way through as far as we can take it. And I mean it's out now. Like the band has produced along with the full-length album a feature film that coincides with the album so people can literally watch the full album as a like a full-length cinema piece.
Mhm.
Um, it's things like that. We continue to push ourselves and we've kind of taken the brakes off of like there's no idea that's too big. We will figure out a way to do it. And I think that's been a huge growing like period for us this album cycle.
I find you guys so interesting because in the landscape of bands, specifically where we are in North America, the style and the sound that you guys create is almost feels like a novelty because there's not many bands doing it. Like everybody's going towards more, almost like everybody's going towards McDonald's versus going towards like, a proper meal prepared by a proper chef.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of feel a little bit like an oasis in terms of what you create, the vision, the execution, how everything comes together. Does that make it more challenging to be in a market that is not necessarily as conducive to what you guys create?
I would agree with that. And that's been the struggle with our band since the inception or the start. We've always had an interest in the European sound. We've always had an interest in what other bands were doing over this overseas. So it's been a struggle trying to, find that right market in the US. And we've stayed tried and true to what we believe in. And we're starting to see those super fans or the people that are really into it discover us. So it's starting to pay off. And with following trends and what's hot now in the US and things like that, you find that certain sounds start to flame out. So we've stayed consistent and true to what we believe in.
Do you guys have a plan for what the rest of the year is going to bring you in terms of like shows and whatever it is? Like, do you guys kind of have a roadmap, or like everything else, it's a little bit more organic and you kind of just go with the flow, so to speak?
Just because of timing wise, we do have like a relative plan. Things are always subject to change. But like I said, we have a film coming out, so we are going to do like the album release proper, a film premiere proper. We're going to try and do a little bit of the film festival circuit. We're talking about touring, so we have a couple fires in the oven, so to speak, as far as where we're going to hit the road next. So we have a very along with rolling out a bunch of other really cool things that we can't talk about just yet. We have a very busy 2026.
Let me ask about the movie part, because I think that's a really interesting idea and an interesting add-on, if you will, to releasing a record. Did it turn out to be more difficult to put it together than you guys originally thought?
It nearly killed me. Yeah. It
Because
was
I feel like it's kind of like one of those things where you have the idea and it's an amazing idea, but then once you start working on it, it's like, hey, maybe we bit a little bit more than we could chew.
there's a reason why bands don't do this all the time, dude. Like it was really, really hard. And we kind of had to do it in secret. We wanted to keep this thing under wraps as long as we could. So we spent 18 months after we had done the album. We had spent 18 months creating a film, and we did it all ourselves. We self-financed, we self-produced, we shot it, we edited it, we did all the costumes and the locations and the acting stuff. Like
Wow.
we did it all ourselves. Which is kind of like it's kind of crazy to say that in a sense too. Um, yeah, there's just so much going on with the film stuff, and we're very excited with how it turned out, and we're excited for people to see it. And I think it's a really great, interesting concept on maybe like the answer to like what is like now like this like immediate like McDonald's-esque version of like consuming songs. Like we want people to experience the full album. We want people to like dive in and watch this thing and discover like little bits and pieces of things that like you couldn't get all just listening to it sonically.
Music, yeah.
Um so yeah, yeah.
Wow. The fact that you guys did all of that, that's to me,
Mhm.
that's mind-boggling. Like that's insane. I mean, not only you're busy with a record, now you're adding like a movie to it. Let's just like fucking go for the moon, I guess. But I
Yeah.
love it. I think it's so out of the box.
We're big dreamers. We've always looked towards the bigger bands that had the whole concept and the whole picture, and that's who we aspired to be. Like, your Enslaves and your Opeths and bands like that. That's who we aspire. We're big dreamers.
Shoot for the stars, man. You're never gonna reach them unless you do go for it. So I applaud you guys for taking this approach with it. I actually thought, Alec, I thought when you were explaining about the movie and the whole process, I thought you were gonna say this was a lot of work and we'll never do it again.
I'm a glutton for punishment, and and we're already thinking about how we can top. I don't know how we top a movie just yet, but I've got some ideas that I'm kind of cooking.
Well, I think you have to top it with a trilogy. Everything that's worth releasing is worth releasing in three.
All right, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's.
Never mind what you do next. Already start thinking about the next two. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm pushing you guys to the next level.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a company called Thunderflix. They're kind of like the Netflix for heavy metal. So
Okay.
they stream concerts, they stream documentaries. they broadcast content that was not necessarily created by them, but they also create their own content. So what I'm trying to say is, if you guys want to get in touch with them, let me know. I can definitely put you guys in touch with them. Because speak about an outlet that really resonates with the audience that you have, which is metalheads.
Hmm.
So if you're a Thunderflix subscriber, you're a metalhead because that's what you're going there for. You're going there for the documentaries, for the live concerts, live shows. By the way, I don't work for them. I don't make any money. They're just friends of mine, and
Cool.
I think it's a great platform. I think it's a great platform. So if you guys want to get in touch with them, just shoot me a message or have Curtis shoot me a message. I can put
Yeah,
you guys in touch.
We would
absolutely.
love that,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think I honestly I think you would it would allow you guys to reach the right audience. You know what I mean? Like because the people
Yeah.
who would check it out are the people who are gonna listen to the music anyways.
Hmm.
So because I think sometimes that gets lost in the struggle. I think sometimes bands approach from a marketing standpoint, they don't necessarily approach their end user, they approach users. But
Hmm.
you don't want people to just come in for the novelty of it and click on one of your songs, one of your videos, whatever the case might be. You want people that are coming to click on it, but are coming to click on it and will come back again because they're fans of the sound and fans of the genre. So I can
Right.
definitely do that for you guys, put you guys in touch. There are great people there, and I think it would be man, it would be super cool to see your movie available on Thunderflix. I gotta say that to me would be
That'd be
super cool.
clutch. That'd be really cool. Yeah, yeah.
We would love that.
I would totally watch it. So, and I'm super curious about it because I think you guys have some really innovative ideas, some really cool ideas, and that showcases itself in the music that you make.
Hmm.
But putting together a movie, man, that's like, wow. And you did your own acting?
So
Yeah.
we did have a small cast that are featured in it. We have some amazing actors. And I have to shout out just really quickly, just shout out to like Masha and Jay and Nicole and Tristan, and a bunch of other people. We didn't just do it ourselves. We had a bunch of people who helped us. But the band does make cameos throughout the film.
All right, all right. Because I was going to wonder, man, if you guys are doing all the acting, is this going to turn out like Vivid or Digital Playground kind of shit? Like, is it some quality acting involved or
We got people who knew what they were doing. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all
No,
right, all right, all right.
this looks legit. It's not a camcorder situation.
It's not like Blair Witch Project. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Wow. How did you guys, if you don't mind me asking, how did you guys find the funding for all of this?
We literally pulled it out of our own pockets. Literally. And we did this on a shoestring budget when we could afford to. We had to splurge to do specific things, but we tried our best to do it all ourselves. I mean, I directed it, I edited the entire thing, like all the graphic design stuff and like some of the special effects stuff I did. Like we really we took full creative ownership of this thing.
How long was
And
sorry, go
I,
ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead.
I just wanted to throw in that we did have to sell certain aspects to like some of the people that own the locations and things like that. And once we sold the idea to them, they were all on board. So I just want to throw that in there.
You'd be surprised how many people, when you say, "Hey, we're making a film, this has never been done before," how many people are excited just to be a part of the process, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. How long was it? And it was it parallel with the record? Were you guys working on things parallel or you did one and then you moved into the other?
So we had basically finished the Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. We had basically gotten through the majority of the editing process. So like everything was recorded and we were in like the mixing stages when we started shooting the first segment of the film. And it
Yeah.
took us about 18 months. And this was again like we all have jobs. This was in between touring and stuff too. We would take weekend chunks and just be like, all right, hey, we're shooting another chunk of the movie. Hey, we're shooting another chunk of the movie. And we were just blocking out months in advance of time.
Wow, that's fucking insane, dude. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy. Talk about putting blood, sweat, and tears into this thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then even when we were writing the scenes, we would just think of the craziest thing that we could do and figure out how to do it. It like we were just like throwing out ideas out there and whatever stuck, and we just willed our way through it.
There was never really a moment where it was like, that's too big. We can't think about that. It's like, okay, that's a great idea. It sounds crazy. How can we make it a reality? And that's like a recurring theme with us. It's like, okay, that sounds like a crazy idea, but like, how do we make that actually like tangible?
I love it. It's the glass half full with you guys, never half empty.
Yeah, kind of. We
I
try.
I'm blown away by what you guys have been able to achieve with this record and with the movie. Like it's kudos to you for not only having the vision but having the heart and the tenacity to pull through and create all of this. In an age where social media is super important, and I've seen you guys post a lot of stuff on social media in terms of letting people know that there's a single coming out, there's this coming out. You guys do a wonderful job connecting with the fan base through social media. Is that something that for you guys happens also naturally? Do you feel comfortable in that role?
Um, I would say that comes through the last few years, the last few releases. We've learned a lot. We've worked with some industry professionals, and we've taken a lot from each aspect and honed it into delivering a professional approach. So I'd say it just comes through experience.
And just to add on to that, I don't think any musician like gets into the game because they want to be an influencer. You know, we're doing it because we want to do it for the music. And it's like a weird state right now where it's like you kind of have to wear multiple hats to have any sort of like music career nowadays. And it's kind of unfortunate, but like it's just the nature of the beast, and you adapt and you figure out ways to kind of carve your own niche and stand out in this weird digital landscape that we're in now.
Yeah, it is. It is. It seems like a very weird way of promoting your art. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it
Yeah.
works, and there's so many bands out there that have gotten to become really successful, and a huge part of that has been their social media presence and how they approach it. So it can be discarded. Let me just put it that way.
Mhm.
But it's not everybody's cup of tea. So f finding someone with a face like Jay's that is not embarrassed of being in front of a camera talking about a release and
Oh
being the
man.
the sex symbol of the band, I think you guys are on a fine track.
Don't tell him that, dude. You're gonna give him a big head.
It's not fun. We don't do this for social media. We do this for music.
It's the
And
truth. It's
unless
the
you have
truth.
a lot of money, unless you have a lot of funding, you have to learn to do it yourself.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's the truth.
that
So
I agree with you guys. Let me ask you this. So you mentioned touring. Any remote plans of making it to the big white north, more specifically Toronto, the center of the universe?
we're working on it. We're working on it. We have a new booking agent as of last year, so she's working on some tours, and we had an offer for Canada, so we're working on that. So hopefully we can announce that soon.
Hey, I'm in Toronto. Looking forward to seeing you guys coming up here, playing some shows. Like I said, I can hook you guys up with Thunderflix. Hopefully, I get to see this movie on my very own TV, sitting in the comfort of my sofa, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do next. I mean, you guys are super creative, super good people, super creative. So it never surprises me. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that. It does surprise me that you guys always find different ways of remaining creative and doing something else. I don't know what are you going to do to top a movie and an album release simultaneously. Like I said, there's a trilogy. There's always that. Outside of that, I don't know. Maybe your own action figures. I honestly, I have no clue. What are you guys going to throw at us next? But I know it's going to be filled with quality and a lot of hard work. That is for sure.
Definitely,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much for your time today. This was an absolute pleasure and a blast. Like I said, I'll reach out to your peeps with the information, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this album, not only you guys find the success you're looking for, but you find even more than what you're looking for. I think you guys are an absolute gem of a band. I've been listening to you guys for a while because I'm a big fan of Black Lion Records in Sweden and all of their releases. So and I know the guys at Black Lion Records as well. So they have so many like jams of bands on that label. And it's a small label, all things compared, but they have like amazing bands, you guys being one of them. And I remember discovering you guys, I'm gonna say maybe 2019, around that, maybe
Mm.
around the pandemic time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was Black Line Records. They sent me a whole box of CDs of all of their bands and releases and stuff. and I had a couple of there was like one or something like that from you guys in there. So I thought that was really cool. And like I said, it's not every day that you listen to a North American band playing the kind of sound that you guys play. So that always piques my interest. It's not your run-of-the-mill metalcore. Not that I hate metalcore, but I just feel like, you know, that aisle in the supermarket is filled. So
We're all friends here. You don't have to explain yourself. We get
yeah,
it.
I'm
We
looking
get
for
it.
something a little bit more entertaining and interesting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we all
Yes.
love McDonald's, but once in a while it's nice to have like a decent meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
well put.
So thank you guys. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
It
Thank
was
you
a
for having
pleasure. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.